Hi beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dee. Welcome if you're new. In today's video, I want to briefly talk about how different mentalities can change our outlooks on lives and thus bring us different life consequences, whether it be positive or negative. And in particular, how victimhood mentality can backfire on us and thus bring us nowhere in life. One caveat though, I am only talking about this issue from my own life journey, and you might disagree with me. That's totally fine. I'm just providing my own perspective based on my own life experiences. So now that's out of the way, let's go back to the topic. The reason I was inspired to make this video was because of the phone call I had with my old friend Jenny. Shout out to you if you're watching. This morning, we were talking about how we've witnessed each other's personal growth and that we share very similar moments in our lives in the past because of how dark our life once were and how cynical and helpless we once felt. But we also talked about the reason we were able to get to a better place in life where we feel better about ourselves and our surroundings was because of a shift in our mentality. And that just reminded me of how in different stages of my own life I had completely different outlooks on life, how that affected my attitude, how I react to different various things, and what kind of different results I was able to receive because of those attitudes. So first of all, one prominent example was my relationship with my parents. And for the longest time, I hated the fact that I was born, because when I was younger, when I was in elementary school all the way through maybe high school, my family was from a middle class to lower middle class background, and I wasn't the popular kid in the class because first of all I wasn't from a wealthy family, and second of all I had an obnoxious personality, and I blame it on my parents because I thought they were too busy at work and they didn't have enough time to teach me how to socialize with other people, and that they weren't able to provide me with an environment where I felt like I wouldn't have to worry about money, and I resented them for it. And I also struggled with self-loathing because I hate the genes my parents passed on me. I felt I was very ugly compared to other girls, and because no guys would talk to me in a romantic way, that I felt very cynical towards men also, and that how I was chubbier, always chubbier than other girls, that I was always more clumsy, and I was just not as popular and feminine as other peers, female peers. And I became very angry. However, the angrier I got towards other girls, towards men, towards myself, the darker the pit I was in, the harder it was for me to find a partner that was a good match for me. And I was constantly involved in toxic relationship because I believed that was how I deserve in life, what kind of people I deserve in life. So that was not a good stage in my life. And luckily things started to change after I went to Guangzhou and later on went to Michigan for the first time in my junior year of college. And I started to open my eyes to different perspectives in life, and I started to understand how the society functions and how human attractions functions. So I started to view myself differently, and instead of hating on my face, I used to think about doing plastic surgery all the time, thinking about maybe just grind my jawlines and maybe do some double eyelid surgery to make my eyes look bigger and make my jaws more sharp and make my face smaller. I used to really struggle with those, and I know there are a lot of girls in my life that I personally know who are struggling with this still today. So I understand the struggle, but I told myself that's not the way to go for my whole entire life. I told myself this is not this is not how I want to live the rest of my life, in anger, in despair, in disgust of my own presence. So I started to read research on how human interactions works, and I started to read self-help books. As corny as that sounds, I just started to learn how you can be more feminine, how you can be more attractive to, first of all, the opposite sex, and how you can cultivate a friendship that is healthy, how to build boundary to not exhaust yourself in dealing with these relationships. So things started to look up for me, even though I might not seem to be hassling around, jumping from one relationship to another right now. Things started to feel almost very bland, to the point of boring. But things are looking up for me because I feel happier. I feel more fulfilled with my own presence. I feel more calm, and I don't feel the same kind of cynicism towards men, towards the world, towards my parents. I was able to fix up my relationship with my parents. I stopped blaming them for having me. I stopped blaming my own existence. I started to think about what I can do with my own life, what I can do with my face, what I can do with my body, how I can take care of my body based on my genes, how I can just take care of my eating disorder, stop binging, and how I can learn about nutrition and maintain a healthy body weight, and also not being extremely critical of my body image. And after I started to do all of those things, I met my fiance, and I was able to have long conversations with my parents, very, very productive conversations, and I got to know my parents as humans, and I got to bond with them. I get to be more, and I become more empathetic towards my parents, and I'm more understanding of them, and they were able to communicate with me better. So we love each other even though we're thousands of miles apart, and I was able to attract healthier friends in my life, even though the amount of friends I have right now dwindled, but the quality increased significantly. So I'm in a very good place in my life because of my shift, because of my willingness to get out of my victimhood narratives. If I were to remain in that critical or cynical place in my life, for example, if I continue to resent men and refuse to change my energy, if I continue to be more masculine in front of men, you can call it patriarchy or whatever, but the problem is I wasn't happy being that way, and I felt I need to change. I wanted to become happier with who I was, and I wanted to be with someone who could see me, who could respect me in a romantic way. And now you don't have to agree with what I said. And again, people have different needs. Also, people are in very different stages of life. You might not be in the same stage as I was, where I felt I needed someone to be my side in a romantic way. It all depends on what makes you truly fulfilled with where you are in life. If you're truly happy with what you're doing in life while being single without having a romantic partner, that's totally fine. But for me, I wasn't happy with where I was, so I had to change myself, and I had to understand what it took for me to get out of that place, instead of remaining in that place while being very critical of others and myself. And then in terms of friendships, I was able to change my perspective on that matter, because I realized that just like romantic relationships, it wasn't a one-way street. It wasn't just about what you can take, nor was it just about what you can provide. If it is that kind of relationship, one-sided relationship, then you're not going to attract the healthiest and best people in the world, and thus you're gonna feel miserable. Unfortunately, that was the case for me for the longest time. So I realized that it wasn't sustainable, and it wasn't something I wanted in life for the rest of my time on the earth. So I had to cut out a lot of toxic people, because I realized even with friendships, there are interests involved, and it has to be a mutually benefiting relationship for it to be sustainable. Even though it might sound cold, in practicality, that's what's working, because both of you can both give and take from each other and become better and better because of that relationship. And that's something that's gonna lift both of you up, instead of one person is always at a superior position than the other. That dynamic is not gonna last forever. I'll tell you that much. Now, there might be people who disagree with what I said. That's totally fine, as long as you are happy with where you are and your life choices right now, you're content, and I'm in no position to judge you, and only you know how your life is. I don't know anything. I only know about my life and what works for me. So for me, it works when I build boundaries, when I set up rules for people I call friends or people I call my lovers, and even my family members. So I'm able to pull myself from a very dark place, at least for me, just be more content with what I have right now. So all I'm trying to convey in this short video is that what you receive is what you project. So if you want to be at a better place in life, start to think about what you're giving out, to what kind of energies you're giving out, what kind of attitude you're holding towards yourself, people around you, and the general environment you're in, and then what you can make out of it. So that is my point in this video. If you have any further thoughts on it or disagreement, feel free to leave a comment below, and I would love to have a conversation with you. Thank you for watching, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video soon. Take care. Bye.